How you doing, folks? Just a quick video on our Tull roof box. I think it's pronounced Tull, Tull or Tully roof box. Anyway, so look, the thing is, when we bought the van a couple of years ago, one of the things I realised very quickly was that we would need additional space for long items, because although the van is very roomy, there's a lot of room taken up inside the van. You know, with obviously the living quarters and luggage in the back and bits and pieces like that. So what do you do if you have long items? So the classic long item that you'd probably consider is skis. I don't know if we'll ever go skiing, but it would be that kind of idea. We use it for the windbreakers that we bring to the beaches with us. So it's very handy for that kind of stuff. And anything that's a long item that you're considering bringing. But additionally, what we throw up in the roof box are things like the little spare cookers that we bring, additional blankets, cushions, things like that. Stuff that's probably bulky that you don't want taken up the van. And, you know, kind of random things that you want to bring with you, but you probably don't want in the van permanently. So that kind of stuff. So the issue is that you have to be conscious of it, because obviously there's a weight limitation, and my understanding is that the weight limitation from reading it on the website is 75 kg. So, but I think because of the pop-up roof, I think the limitation on the pop-up roof, they recommend that you stick to about a 50 kg load, which is what we tend to do. I don't know exactly what the weight is in it, but I'm sure it's less than 50 kg in it, and I always am conscious of not overloading it, because I don't want it overloading the roof and damaging it. And also, when we park up, what we do is I tend to take things out of it. So the stuff that we usually need, that I'll empty it out. But I would also be conscious of that if we did arrive somewhere and I was going to pop up the roof, I probably would take a few bits and pieces out of it. Again, I don't want to overstrain the motors that are designed to lift the roof. I think it can handle the roof and an additional capacity. And I think it probably is 50 kg, but I'm not absolutely sure, so you might want to check that one out. So what do I was checking it this morning. What much of the cost? Okay, so the roof box cost around €600, so it's not cheap. And we had to get the roof bars fitted as well. I couldn't find the pricing on those things, but I'm going to estimate that are between €100 and €200 additional as well. So, you know, so you're looking at €600, €700, maybe €800 to get the roof box fitted with the bars. But it's well worth. It's a good investment. We use it all the time. I mean, I know when I was getting it, Vanessa was kind of questioning me about it, but I said no. I would definitely want one of those I would definitely want one of those roof boxes. So we got that, and we got it black to kind of keep in line with the dark color of the van. So it's €600, and I've measured it this morning. It's 6 foot long and about 3 foot deep, 3 foot wide, and about 1.5 foot tall. And then when you factor in the roof bars, you're looking at probably an additional 2 foot of height on top of your van. So you have to obviously be careful when you're driving into places, you know, like automatic toll bridges, car washes. If you're heading to, you know, into car parks, you need to be conscious of it. McDonald's, you know, places like that where they might have restrictions on the height of the vehicles that can go through. So you just have to be conscious of it. So what we would do is when we were pulling in somewhere, we would always, you know, you can stick your head out and look up and see, but sometimes to be safe, what I do is I ask Vanessa, or I'll hop out and we'll go forward just to make sure, because, you know, if it got caught, it's not so much the roof box that can be replaced, but it would probably do some serious damage to the roof of the Cali itself. So is there anything else on that? Yeah, so we were away at Fantastival last year, and a newer Cali, a 2017 Cali pulled in, and the guy had roof bars and the roof box fitted as well. But I noticed his roof bars were more aerodynamic than ours. They were more streamlined, and also the roof box was much lower on the roof and definitely much more aerodynamic. It was much more streamlined. I think it was VW's own roof box that's designed to come with the van. So, you know, so it's more aerodynamic means less wind noise and less fuel consumption. What's the capacity? I'm not sure. It looked like it was less. It looked like it was a smaller thing, but it may have been flatter and wider. So all in all, the roof capacity, I think, is 400 to 500 litres. So probably was the same. I was speaking to the guy about it because again the speed restriction is you're supposed to keep your top speed below 130 kph. He was telling me he got up to 160 on the autobahn in Germany, but he was telling me that the roof box, the way the roof box is connected to the roof bars and all that is designed not to be some kind of weight restriction, speed restriction. Whereas what ours are is, I'll show you, because what I'll do is I'll do some footage of looking into the box. But what they are is you clamp them, so you turn these knobs, and what happens is that the clamp just basically locks down on the roof bars, and that's really it. We took it off once. We wanted to go and do a little bit of stealth camping, and we didn't want to, because the roof box really makes the van stand out. That's the only thing, and that it looks like a regular van, except with that roof box. It's because it's quite odd looking up there, and it does really make the van very distinctive. So we took it off, and that's when I realized how big it was, because when we took it off, we undid all the clamps and lifted it down, but it took two of us to take it off, and we dropped it into the sitting room, and it looked like, to be honestly, it looked like a coffin, because it's 6 foot long and 3 foot wide. So they're probably coffin dimensions, and it was huge. It's only then when I really realized how big an item it is and how much space it takes. So the other thing then is obviously access. You need to get access up to the roof box, and what I see a lot of people doing is bringing telescopic ladders or steps or something like that. And what I'll do is, again, I'll do some footage of me getting up into the roof box. But what I did was I bought a little cheap aluminium ladder, and I cut it down to size. And what I do then is I fix it to the bike rack. And what we do is we bring the little ladder around. So what I do is I shut this door here, the side door. I lean the ladder up against the door, and I climb up the ladder, and it gives me perfect access up into the roof. Now I'm 6 foot tall, so when I'm standing at the top of the ladder, it's very easy for me to reach into the roof box, and there's no problems there. But I'd say if you're shorter, you might consider making the ladder taller, but then there's the whole width of the van to take into account. You don't want a big, long, wide ladder, and that's why the telescopic ladders are probably fairly handy. But again, they're heavy and they're bulky and they take up a bit of room, so it's your decision, I suppose. Just thing to be careful of is that when I was leaning the ladder against the van, I dented one of the doors. It's one of the first things I did, and I regret it to this day because the dent is still in the door. What happened was I should have leaned the ladder up against the door with like a cushion or something like that. I didn't think, and just the weight of me and the ladder just pushed one little part of the door in and dented the door slightly. So you need to be conscious of that. I've wrapped it in kind of foam insulation just to protect it, so that way when I'm taking it off, it doesn't bang and knock off anything, because clearly you'd have to be careful of the back window back there, that you wouldn't want to damage it. And then what I do then is I have basically a bungee cord, and the bungee cord keeps it in place and it stays on there. And we've been driving around with it 2 years now, so touch wood, we've had no issues with it whatsoever. And I think that's basically it. I just think now for a second. Yeah, so I was just thinking there for a second. So I think that's basically it with the roof box. I think access, if you're the locks can be a little bit fiddly. I think they get a little bit I oiled them, and you could put a little bit of grease in it. I find that the locking mechanism, because the innards it's a combination of metal and plastic the way it locks, and I think that can get a bit sticky. You also have to be careful with some of the items that you put in, because what they can do is they can move over to the far side and maybe impede the hinges as it's opening. So that can be an issue to be conscious of as well. And what I mentioned in one of the other videos is we have one of those little moisture absorbers. I'm looking at it down here now. We have one of those little moisture absorbers that we stick up in the roof box, and what that does is I keep a duvet up in the roof box, and I noticed one time we took it out, it was had a little bit of mold in it, and that's because we're putting it in and things are getting in damp up there and it's staying a little bit damp. So I put in those little moisture absorbers, and I find that we don't have any issues with moisture or dampness up in the roof box anymore. I mean, we live in the kind of climate where it's probably damp and cold a lot of the year round. Then you have the summer. That box is sealed, so during the summer it's being cooked. There's a lot of moisture in that box. You probably could put drainage holes in it, but then I think you're running the risk of introducing moisture coming back into it. So you're probably crazy to do that, but you could if you wanted, I suppose. So I think that's really it. I'd say, the combination of it, we have it to one side. There's no real issues with it. It works very well. You will need some kind of access up into it. Again, like I said, I'm 6 foot tall, so I reach up on top of that ladder. You probably could rig up something differently. I'm not sure. I see people just, you know, swinging off the side here, and what they're doing is they're trying to get up into, or they have some kind of small steps. I'm repeating myself now, but you get the idea. And I think that's basically it. So what I'll do is I'll end this part of the video here, and the next bit will be basically, what I'll do is I'll set the camera up to record me getting up into the roof box, and I'll open it, and then I have my trusty other camera. And what I'll do then is I will take some footage of inside in the roof box. And that's really it. The things to watch for, I suppose, are sand. You know, will accumulate sand up in the roof box. Just thinking of that as well. When we throw a beach windbreaker up into it, you'll get sand up there. So you will from time to time probably need to get up and give it a bit of an out clean. And I think that is it. So yeah, if there's anything else, I'll stick it onto the video. So thanks for watching.
Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. Bass is going boom boom. If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over, we can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Up in here, got that DJ playing music, everybody wants to hear, yeah. It's getting kinda crazy up in here, everybody wants to ride in the water slide. 3, 4. Baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. Take the roller coaster, and you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. Water slide. Yeah, it's a hot day, I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun, so I cool down. Won't you come on over, we can party till the sun's down. Baby, let me buy you a drink while we're dancing a blink. I could go for some Queen Bee too. Bass is going boom boom. If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over, we can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. It's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. Bass is going boom boom. Baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you